In previous video, we talked about AKS and the features and the facilities that Azure provided. And in today's video, we are going to demonstrate by running an application through AKS. This is demonstration video. Hello everyone, my name is Arun. Let's get started. So I'm on my Azure portal. You can see that you need to go here and type Kubernetes and you'll find Kubernetes services. You go click on add and you gotta provide few information. Like always, we need a resource group. Let's create a new one. I'm gonna call it Marky Mark resource group. And we need to give the name for a cluster. Let me call it Mark Cluster. Then we need to select the region. I have selected India. You can see that. And here is the version that we talked about in our overview video previously. It provides different versions which are available as of now, and you can upgrade it later as well, even after creation. This is the node size that we can choose and select. You need to keep in mind you cannot go below 2 CPUs because it won't accept it. Minimum 2 is required. If I select this size, though it is allowing me to select it, but if I select, it will fail the validation. So let it be. But I can definitely going to minimize the node count for 3 MSAs, minimum 3 for the resiliency, but this is the demonstration. So let me create it 1. We gotta save the money, you know that, right? This is the demo. Now click on scale. We need to select the default options. That is okay. And after the creation, we can see the scaling part as well. For authentication, it creates the service principal. And if you don't want to do that, you can also use the managed identities. We have already covered service principal and managed identities in our previous videos. You might find it in the Microsoft Technology series. Let's go to networking. If you go to advanced, you can integrate with your virtual network, but basic is fine. This is the demonstration for the AKS, absolutely beginners demonstration where we will create the cluster, we will deploy the application and it will work. Let's go to monitoring. Let's select the default monitoring and the log analytics from where all the data that Azure Monitor will monitor, move, or passed to the workspace, log analytics workspace. Let's review. Once the validation is done, we'll go and try to connect with our cluster. If I would have chosen a different SKU size for the node where the CPU is less than 2, it would have failed. All right, so it will take some time. Let me pause the video and I'll be back. All right, so it's been created. Let's go to the resource. And this is our cluster, Mark cluster. And this is the dashboard. You can check the node pools here. We have only one right now. You go to scale. You can increase the node. You can see here. And here you can upgrade the Kubernetes version. Networking, you can go to the advanced. When we are doing that, you can enable that. Things like that are here. But what we are doing here, we are going to connect with AKS with the help of Cloud Shell because there is something called kubectl or kubectl, which is a Kubernetes client which is required to connect with the Kubernetes, and it is already integrated with the Cloud Shell. So let's use the Cloud Shell to connect with the AKS cluster. Okay. All right, so I just clicked here. Now this is the window that appeared at the bottom. You need to come here and you need to grab the credentials of your cluster. And to do that, we have this command line, command AKS, get credentials, uh, command credentials. I hope this is credentials. Okay, cool. And I need to provide resource group. A tab is not working somehow. Resource group. Come on. This shell wants me to type everything. Okay, let's type it. Resource group. Name of my resource group is Mark RSG. Let's type the name of the cluster. That is Mark cluster and enter. It says AKS command not found. Of course, it will not found, and that's the reason it was not working when I was using tab because I need to give AZ at the beginning. My fault, but it should work now. Yes, and in my directory here. Okay, now let's go ahead and first check if our cluster is working fine. To do that, I'll check with the help of same client that I was talking about, kubectl or kubectl, and we'll try to check if nodes are running well or how many nodes are running well. So it's kubectl get nodes. And if you remember when we were creating this, we created only one node. To save the money, of course, this is the demonstration, but we can see that node is right here and this is the status which says ready, so our cluster seems good here. Okay, now let's go ahead and put the manifest file here. So we're gonna do what? We're gonna do vi because that's the editor we're gonna use here. You can also use nano. Let's do vi. I'm pretty comfortable with vi, so I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna use the manifest file, which is actually a YAML, which is provided by Microsoft in the documentation. I'll share that link in the description so that you can also use the same file to run your application through Kubernetes. So I'm gonna give it a name, Azure Vote dot YAML, and it is already there because I was testing it before recording the session, and it is already there. So you just need to put it when you will do it in your lab environment. It would be blank. You need to put it there. Okay, and it has two nodes, front and back end. Okay, it has two deployments, you can say, and deployment is the right word, to be honest. In the terminology of Kubernetes, there's two deployments, one for the Azure Vote Python application and the other for the Redis instance. Okay, you can see this one is for the Redis, Azure Vote Back, and this one is for the Azure Vote Back. Okay, we will cover each and everything related to Kubernetes in the Kubernetes series. What are we doing here? We're just trying to understand how AKS work. So this is the file I'll provide you in the description box. You can go and copy it from the Microsoft documentation, which is provided so that you can do your demonstrations without hassle. So I'm back now. We have this file been generated or created, and we're gonna run it, apply it so that our deployment would proceed and create the services, and we would be able to access the applications. So let's do kube cuddle apply, and it's Azure vote.yaml. It will do two deployment and two service. You can see deployment created, 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 created. So we are all good as of now, and we need to get the IP address, and while it is creating, we can also do the watch kubectl get service Azure vote front. Front is for the application, Python application. So because we need the public IP address so that we can browse it, that's what I'm doing. So it took enough time, or maybe I was a little slow, so it has already been generated. So we are good to go. We can utilize this IP address to access the application. Let me do Control C and copy this. Let me try to put it here. Enter. There we go. This is the Azure voting app. You see if I hit the cat, the count goes up like dogs, cats, dogs, and you can reset it. So application is working fine. We just hit couple of buttons and there is a live application with the database Redis and it's working. So that's how it works. Now let's go and also check the monitoring. Okay, let's go here and under monitoring we have insights. So let's click here and check some logs under the selected workspace. So that's how it comes here, and we need to add the filter namespace kube systems, and under containers we have these two right here. These two pods are running, back and the front. Okay, and if I come here and select the logs, it will take me to the analytics page where we run the query and get the results. All right, so we just created just now, we don't have any such log here, but if we will wait enough, we will get the logs. All right, so that's how it works. That's how you can check the monitoring as well, all the dashboards, all the pods you can see here. So that's all about the demonstration. And in the demonstration, if I have to summarize, we have created the AKS cluster with the help of informations like resource group, region. We provided the node size, node count, and there was other options like networking and service principal and scaling, things like that. And once it is created, we need to grab the credentials first. You can use the Cloud Shell the way I did it, or you can utilize your own, but you're gonna have kubectl and Azure CLI there. And once you have the credentials grabbed out of the cluster, you can go ahead and check the nodes are running fine or not. Then you can create your manifest file. You can apply the deployment and your application would be up and running. To check the logs, you need to go to the monitoring, and under the insight, you can check all the pods which are running. And this is the monitoring dashboard, and you can check, you can play around, you'll find all different kind of options. So that's all about the demonstration. Well, thank you for watching and you have a good day. Bye bye.